entrepreneur. So we are continuing with the conversation we've been having throughout the week about starting a business, starting and running a business. And today we are joined by RONALD MKANGA, who will help us with some of the questions we have about business. And we want to know that why don't most of the businesses that are started get to their third term? So Ronald, thank you so much. Welcome to East Squared. Can you kindly introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you so much, Daphne, for that candid introduction. My name is Ronald Mkanga. I'm a business consultant, also a life and business coach, and a newly author of my new book. As you can see, the book is about personal development because, as you know, young people need to develop themselves in terms of capacity of how to understand to run their businesses. And that's why I'm here. So thank you so much for inviting me.
So Ronald, tell us about Vijana Reloaded.
Yeah, sure. Also being a co-founder of Vijana Loaded, which is a youth empowerment platform. Basically, what motivates us and what we're passionate about is making sure that youths are able to understand the concept of entrepreneurship. As you know, most of our young people are kind of like, programmed to look for jobs. Like the sector is about employment. But at Vijay Loaded, we believe into entrepreneurship. So we train youths on how to do to create their own employment by teaching them the basic principles of entrepreneurship.
We had COVID last year, and most people switched from, some people lost their jobs, others switched to businesses, and those businesses didn't thrive. What do you think is the mistake people actually do while starting businesses?
Oh, good question. But actually, when it comes to business, there's something called trends and change. So change is inevitable. Change will be there. Since over time, things have changed. And so for me, I believe Corona has been a game changer in terms of how we think and how we do our things, because we've been so comfortable in our own ways of doing things. And so life has to progressively go ahead. So for the youth, what I can say is we need to look at the trends now because things are going online. And you see, as what is happening here, we are online already. So this is already a phenomenal change for the youth because we are realizing the power of using online platforms. So the trends are very important. You need to understand where the world is moving and be able to align with the current changing times of the world systems. Yeah.
So, as an author, what were you seeking to address writing this book, especially in terms of business?
Yes, basically, working with the youth for almost now 7 years, the idea was I believe that youth needed some new information on how to be able to run and also develop their businesses. So the concept behind this book is basically a holistic view of a life of a person, whereby it's not only the business part, but also there is a part of spirituality, there is a part of family, there's a part of, so business is all a lot of things at one time. So until you balance your life, you will never be able to settle down and be able to focus. So this book gives you an overview of reflection and analyzing. So sometimes we run so much, we don't have time to just reflect about what we're doing. So it's good once in a while, maybe monthly, or maybe quarterly or annually, to audit where are you with with your vision, basically, just to see how you're doing financially. What about your family? How's your friendships? What about your spirituality? Check all around because you can focus on only one component and you've left other components which affect your interaction with the other people. And that can cause you maybe to be depressed, thinking that maybe, things are not working up well, but you have not realized that some of the things that you need to really upgrade are not doing well in your life. So you need to really holistically view your life and be able to step up and change some of the things in your life.
So when we talk about some of these things in our lives, can you break it down into like some of those major things that people do that affect the businesses or their journeys, like in general? Yeah, can you just break it down to
Yeah,
our audiences?
yeah. So surely the thing is everything starts with the mind because the mind is where we actually birth ideas, where we create. And so you find that our mind can be overwhelmed with information. With the current situation now, we find that there's too much information outside here from the Google or the YouTubes. So like, how do you get the right information to make you grow? So this book gives you a bit of a pause just to pause with this fast-paced running world whereby everybody just go, 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 go. So you need to, hey, take a minute, come back to the basics and understand that you need to understand to come from a point of a vision. Where does it all begin? In whatever you're doing, you need to have some ideology. Don't just do things because people are doing. Most of the young people, the problem are facing is they're doing copying and paste. You find someone has an M-Pesa shop, you open a next to him, another one. So you need to understand that business is dynamic. You need to, the book helps you to diversify your thinking and think out of the box and think of new ideas that, look at this COVID now. People have come with new ideas that they never thought about before COVID, right? So that's the perception of this book, to help you uplift your thinking and also diversify your mind. Yes.
And do you think that our education system has a role to play in the unemployment, the rate of unemployment? Because I'm sure most people are going into businesses because they failed to get unemployment. Do you think that our education system has a role to play in the whole unemployment?
Yes, education actually is one of the pillars that affect, the growth of a personality of a person, because all of us has to go through a program. And so it depends which kind of a program you are going through. When you look at Kenya or Africa or any other place, there is a system that has put a curriculum already, rather. So that curriculum programs everyone to almost think the same. You see, and that becomes difficult for people to start thinking differently. And so the critical thing is you need to think out of the box. And so the system, as for now, I think the government has changed, which is good. Now we are going to the CBC, which is, I think, the best move. Because when you look at people who grew up in the 90s, 80s, the system was a long-time system that really didn't empower people to be creative, but it was all about looking for jobs. So we're looking for ways that we're going to change our mind from employment to entrepreneurship, and that's the way forward.
The training that you normally give, what are the first ideas you give people, or the first things you tell people before you actually start the whole training process?
Basically, before you come to the training, first what we really look for is your passion, because you do have to have passion for what you want to do. Because as entrepreneurs, sometimes you have ideas, but ideas are not like gonna make you money. So you need to have passion, so that when you have that passion, even if you don't make money, you'll be able to understand that money will come after you have developed something from it. So I normally advise young people to look at things that are long-term in terms of, if you know you won't be there for 5 years in this thing, don't try it. Because it takes business a lot of effort, a lot of patience to grow. But again, one thing, you need to act fast, but also be patient with the results. Because there's a bit of what we call microeconomy. Young people want to really make money faster. But money is made, like good money is made in quiet places, It doesn't make noise. So that's the key.
And with the youth that you are training,
yeah,
what has the progress been so far?
The progress has been phenomenal because, first of all, entrepreneurship is under like a new ideology in Africa. But when you look at the European or in America, entrepreneurship is the core foundation of businesses. Look at the likes of Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, all those entrepreneurs carrying the economy of the country to the next level. So entrepreneurship is big. And I believe this will be a game changer in this country. We are blessed. Most of Kenyans, we have that entrepreneurial spirit, and that has kept us afloat. Even during this COVID, you see young people have come up with new ideas. And I like even what the program you're doing now, bringing up and uplifting young people to also be afloat in these tough times.
So if you check the social media space, people like Edgar Barry came up with modules to help give a platform small businesses. How do you think people can actually make money on social media? Like, what ways can people make money on different social media platforms?
Yeah, first, I think social media, it's a global village. We are living in a time whereby you can sell your product, not only in Kenya, but in Uganda, in America. So there's no limit, with all these platforms like Amazon, where you can use your products and also just your content. So I believe, youth should be able to use their phones wisely, because it depends how you spend your time on your phone. If you spend your time 70% on Facebook, watching people who are, enjoying life, you lose. But if you spend time marketing your product, marketing your service, you'll make money. And also you'll be able to build your brand. And most people have never realized that social media is one of the best places to market whatever you're doing. So instead of post, it's good actually to post, the holiday stuff, your family, but most importantly, try to post relevant stuff that can build your brand and also support your business.
And as a business coach,
Yeah.
many people lost their jobs last year. So some tried to like just make ends meet and tried to start up businesses and they didn't know where to start from and those businesses failed. Some failed, some I think are doing well.
Yes.
What advice would you give people who have just lost their jobs and are trying to start businesses? Like what are the first things you'd tell them to first do before they figure out like what business am I going to do? What are the first things they need to assess?
First thing you need to understand is this pandemic have made some business to be relevant and they'll be relevant forever. First, as we're moving 10 years from now, some of the business, like even taxis, will be out of the business because of the AI. So what I can say is when your business has gone under, sometimes because of just the whole economic situation, you need to get back a bit. And that's why this book is actually helping in terms of analyzing what are you really good at. So get back to your vision. What made you do what you do? And also, what I realize is most of the people who really lost never used social media well. And maybe your business was offline. And there's a saying that says, if you close your business at night and you sleep, and the also business goes to sleep, you're in a problem. And you wake up in the morning to go and open it. Your business should be online, running 24/7. As Africa, Kenya, we are going to sleep. America is waking up. So if you're not active online, then you lose. So I urge young people who lost their businesses probably to upgrade in terms of use social media well, marketing, and actually just branding yourself. Because there's a platform like LinkedIn where you can also introduce your business to the corporate guys who can be able to see what you're doing, your skill. You can also try to learn a new skill. Like there are many opportunities in terms of web development whereby you can learn how to create a website, how to do social media marketing. So I think reflect and see where you can be able to have an entry point. And some businesses, you find that there is too much investment in terms of inventory, whereby just a season has affected your operations. So you need to maybe look for where you can get a grant to be able to pump in your business to continue moving ahead. So there's platforms like on website, whereby on Google, whereby you can find grants for youths that are available through USAID. Some of the embassies also support that. So try to reach out and even ask friends where you can find grants to support you elevate your business to revive again. So you should never give up on yourself, but always keep asking. There is a solution at the end of the day.
And something else I wanted to find out would be how do you find the saving culture of youth in Kenya?
Actually, saving culture is not just youth in Kenya. It is a global problem. No, saving is saving. So you have to be prudent, you have to be disciplined. And that is not only youth problem. I think that's a really big problem that, it is really tough for everyone. So about saving, it is a habit. You need to change how we think about money. Sometimes, again, what do you save that you don't have? So you need to actually elevate yourself in terms of having other streams of businesses so that you can have enough money. Because most of young people, the money they have is just for sustainability, only paying rent and surviving. You don't have that extra coin to save. So I can't blame them. But the idea is develop more streams of income so that you can be able to have enough savings to sustain your business and your life. But again, savings comes with a cost. So young people want to live a higher lifestyle that they can't afford. That's a big problem. You can't have iPhones. You can't just buy things, wants instead of needs. So focus on the needs mostly, and savings, think of a budget. This is number one thing about savings. Work with a budget that is between your means. Don't overspend. Don't live life beyond your means. So that is the way of you can be able to start saving. So making a budget, cutting on your cost, and understanding your lifestyle. Don't live up to Facebook cloud lifestyle. Live according to your means. Most people are impressing their friends about how they're doing and what is happening. social media about clubs and music. It's good to have time to enjoy, but also have that, a place where you can say enough is enough and you can save money. Yeah.
Yes. You said many youth like microwave system that people make it instantly. People make it in life instantly. What do you think the problem is?
I think the problem is with the current, leadership, also environment that we are in. We acknowledge, somebody who's rich, and we don't question how he made his money. And so that, like, everyone wants just to be rich without process. So what we are trying to avoid is the process. So my plea for the young people will be, don't cut shortcuts. Don't be a person who want to take corners. Follow the process. Make sure that you study, have a skill, and let your skill be able to feed you. So in everything, just like seed and harvest time, as the farmer put the seed on the ground, he has to wait for some time to harvest. And there'll be process of pruning, weeding, and all that. So we should not have shortcut in between. Let us be able to go through the process. Yeah. Yeah.
And how is the startup system in Kenya? Do we have good culture as a country to support new businesses?
First of all, startup system, when I look at Africa, mostly East Africa, Kenya, we are not doing bad. We have those platforms like the iHubs that be able to give you the ecosystem where you can work from and be able to also share ideas with other entrepreneurs. But the only challenge is, youth can't access capital. That has been a very big challenge for youth who have ideas, because again, ideas have to have also money. So the support system for youth in terms of capital is really difficult. And with now current COVID situation, most of the maybe donors or sponsors who have been supporting, most of them really also they are going through situations. So the startup environment, I can say, is going through challenge now because of lack of access to funds. And secondly, we don't have enough what we call venture capitalists. Like when you look at Europe or America, the guys who support startups, individual people with their own money. But Kenya, the risk, people are not willing to take risk on youths, by the way. That's the big thing. And again, youths don't have collateral to get a loan from a bank. So I can say it really takes energy. But to me, I don't believe that you need to have money to start a business. I urge young people to start from somewhere. You can even start by selling secondhand clothes. You can start by being employed, maybe just like any job, so that you can save some capital to get a laptop, and then you upgrade yourself as you move. Because I've met youth who say, if I have $1 million, I'll be able to do A, B, C, D. But you'll never even touch 10,000. So how can you manage $1 million while you haven't even seen 10,000? So start small, but with a vision of going bigger. So startups have challenge, yes, but you should not base on the challenge. Let's base on the solution. It is never too late to start, and start wherever you are with what you have.
So as a youth, why do most of the spaces run sorry. So as a youth with startups, if you're saying we should start small, then probably generate money from that business, and then grow that business into something bigger.
Yes.
Do you encourage youth who come together to probably how do I put it? Amass resources to start like a project? How do you advise youth who try to amass resources to come up with the same business, like different youth starting a business, but
As a group, yes, yes,
as a
yes,
group?
yes. Actually, that's the best model also, but the only problem with you sometimes can be trust, because there'll be involvement of money whereby money has to be saved. But we have youth groups, of course, that came and started slowly, and they put resources together. So that means you are putting your resources to empower each other, whereby you're putting 100, which if you are maybe 100, it become to be 10,000. You see, that's now with that, maybe someone can borrow and use and develop. But the only challenge is when it comes to that kind of a situation, these ideas are still young. in terms of development and also market fit. So the idea, the money that it takes, sometimes maybe a youth is trying to do a business. He took a small loan from that group and the business didn't go well. So it doesn't end up well again. So those kind of group have challenges. So it takes discipline, it takes commitment. So you find that maybe you're 100, but you have 10 who are committed. So those 10 can move well. So that is a good model where youth can come as a team and work as a team. It is working. So if young people can adapt that model, it can be helpful. So that they are disciplined and be able to make sure that even if they take money from their group, they can turn back and also help each other to grow. Yeah.
And as a social entrepreneur, what are some of the spaces you feel like the youth haven't exploited or explored?
For me, in this country, if one thing I want to tell the youth to do, they should invest time in IT. IT has a very good opportunity for employment, for growth, and it doesn't limit you where to do business. You know, there is a big gap in IT that IT, you can employ yourself, just need a laptop. And again, you can learn whatever you want to learn on the YouTube or on Google. So you don't have excuse to say you can't learn something. You know, you don't have to say that. Even if you don't have a laptop, you can go to the cyber cafe and just pay for the browsing time. So I think IT is a game changer, but I'm not saying that also should leave that. Another sector I can say is agribusiness. Most young people feel like agriculture is very, is a hard work job. And we are straight farming with poverty. So agriculture is very creative. When you look at the COVID situation now, people were left with what? Food. That everyone was selling something somewhere. People came from offices to start selling stuff. So that shows that there's a gap. And when you look at the landmass we have in this country, when we go to our fields where we came in our counties, there is huge lands. You don't have to buy land to be a farmer. You only need to lease. And so you can own land by leasing, use that farm, create, plant something there for 1 year. It's difficult, yes, but it has returns. It can give you good returns. So IT and agriculture, those two sectors, young people should look investing in them.
Yeah, so when we go to our social media pages, we have Caroline Atieno, yeah. Caroline is saying, tell us more about the book. What is it about? How much is it? And where can we find it?
Good. Thank you for the question, Carol. So the book, The Wheel of Life, it is about personal development, helping you to realize your potential, and also realigning your vision with your purpose. So it is a book that first helps you to get who you are. Because you cannot be someone else. Because most of us, 90%, we have been programmed to be who we are. The system, how our family, where we are brought up, where we went to school, where we go to church, we have been informed by other people's ideologies. So this book takes you back to who you are, you as a person, so that you can be able to get to understand yourself. And when you do things with the right mindset, as you, and not as the society told you to be. So most people are living a life of brokenness because they are pushed to impress people. But this book will get you back to you as a person and understand yourself, because we are all born unique in a way that we are not supposed to copy. So this book gives you your originality. It connects you back to the source, which is God. It gives you back your health. So it has information about a holistic view of life. To find this book, you can go to my website at ronaldmkanga.com. Also, our Facebook page, Ronald Mkanga. You can also find it, very soon we'll be launching it to different bookshops. But we have a distribution center in town at ICA building, actually along Kenyatta Avenue in Nairobi Center. And also, we have a number. I can share the number now, 0790-486-416. You can also call to make your order. Can I repeat the number? 0790-486-416. And you can be able to get the book on delivery.
Okay. Yeah, there's also another question still from Caroline Atieno. She says, why do most startups need a white person as a director so that it grows? And most of the startups here in Kenya that have made it have an American or European in their leadership.
Well, that's a good question, Caro. And what I can say about that is, knowledge is expandable. So sometimes there are people ahead of us in terms of knowledge. So you find those organizations having white people. It is not that because of anything, but it's because of exchange of knowledge. So someone can be able to have a white person in the organization to help them to be able to understand what has worked for them there. But again, acknowledge that also we have capacity as Kenyans to do by our own selves. So I believe things are changing in due time because of the wide, connectivity of internet. We can get that same knowledge that is in abroad. Now you can also just access Harvard online. Before you could not even applying was a difficult thing. So we have opportunity, and we should not look at why the white and all that. It doesn't help. The solution is seek the information, knock, and you'll get it. So for those companies that maybe have the European or the white guys in their company, it is because of the program, the exchange, and also can speak for them. But for me personally, it's just about exchanging the knowledge and also expanding our know-how in terms of what we learn every day. So it's good to learn from each other. Yeah.
And then there's a major issue with debt. Youth are sinking in debt, some are committing suicide because of it. Can you just give advice on how to get loans, and how do you tell the credibility of a place while asking for loans and not have a Shylock come after you to recover the money back?
Mhm.
Because it's a major problem right now.
Yes. So first of all, debt sometimes can really ruin people's lives, and mostly for young people because of lack of capital, they end up getting into situations like borrowing money. But you know what? Don't borrow money to go for drinking or for leisure. You borrow money to invest in the business. And most young people borrow money for leisure. And that's the problem. And that's why they get into problems. I've seen you two invest in businesses and they flourish. So when you borrow for pleasure, you lose. And now you lose even yourself because the next thing you just think of suicidal. So there is good and bad debt. Get the good debt, which is invest that debt into business and there'll be a return on it and you'll pay the debt. And of course, understand we have a very high percentage of interest in this country, which is also a very big challenge. And I believe, like also the Shylocks, the really exorbitant interest that they charge upon wherever you borrow. So just try to live beyond your means. Don't borrow money to go and buy Nike white shoes, like Air Force Ones, Live in your means. Time will come. Look, they're saying that say, if you can't afford it 10 times, never bother buying it. That's what I can summarize.
10 times.
10 times, not even 3, 10 times. Leave it. Because it is a want. It's what I need. Yeah.
We cannot exhaust this topic of business. I think it's an ongoing topic, and we'll still have this conversation next week. We'll be continuing with this conversation. So thank you very much for joining us and explaining to us most of the things we need to know while starting up businesses.